Professor Grimm. I teach entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial finance, and negotiation. I'm teaching two sections of entrepreneurship at this time. A couple of my students are here. All of my students ought to be here, but that's okay. And you're here because you have an interest, I think, in another. You're here because I think you have an interest in the possibility of a business plan contest. So I'm going to take 45 minutes to go through the preparation of the business plan. And I'm going to cite you to several sources that you can use for information concerning what I'm going to talk about today. So, I don't know that you all know my background. I practiced law for 35 years. I'm representing almost exclusively technology companies throughout their birth to death, or birth to public offering, or birth to being acquired. And most of my work is with companies that are raising capital, because that's when it becomes really intense. And I became a professor here on September 1. I've been teaching for 5 years as an adjunct. So I know this pretty much by heart, because I've seen many business plans, and most of them are rated as D's or F. So let's get started. The first thing to do is to start up here at 1 o'clock. Determine the objectives of the system. Determine the objectives to be met by the plan. Your objectives are not to raise capital. Most business plans are prepared to present to investors to raise capital. That's not your objective. Your objective is to your objective is to impress the judges. Different story, different objective. So how are you going to impress the judges? Well, I came up with these objectives for you. You're going to have to demonstrate there's a demand for the product or service that you've picked. You're going to have to demonstrate that the product or service is differentiated from competition. You're going to have to demonstrate that and I use P/S as products versus services. The products or services can be produced or performed at a cost that will produce a profit, which is not easy. That the team can implement the plan. Now, in this business plan contest, it's not like you go out and shop around for a team. The team is what you make of it. We know they're all students, but we would like to know what your capabilities are, what your backgrounds are, what your concentration is in your MBA, what your undergraduate degree is, because that'll sort of fit as to what roles the different team members will play. We all know that this is not one that each of you have been a vice president of Apple or something coming into this plan. And next, you have to be able to show that you can acquire the resources to execute the plan. And to do that, sorry, I'm losing it here. You have to be able to, if it's required, raise capital. Most often you start businesses with personal cash or friends and family. That's what F&F means. But be very careful about friends and family if you're really doing this, because you will have enemies for life when you lose their money, which is highly likely. Bank borrowing, not very likely. Those of you in my class know why. Don't count on bank borrowing to start your business. Investors are partners. You have to acquire the people, not just the people to do whatever you're going to do. You have to acquire equipment or facilities. And NBM is other people's money. You have to be very clever as to how you're going to use other people's money to get your business going and to keep it going. those are your objectives. Of course, now you have to select the business. And what I suggest you do is what we call the back of the napkin feasibility. You've got to determine very quickly whether or not what you think is feasible. And feasible means to address those things that we just did on the back of the napkin, literally. You don't have to go through a major exercise. It's pretty easy, frankly, to figure out whether your product or service has a market, how you might be able to get there. If it's one, somebody came to me for one of these and said, we're going to build one of these indoor skiing facilities that they now have in Abu Dhabi, and that requires us to raise $41 million. And I told them, forget it. There's no point in starting that. There's no feasibility of doing something like that, at least out of the shooting. So anyway, go back to that kid feasibility very quickly. And if you see that it's possible, then ask others to test the feasibility. And if they believe you can ask other students. That's okay. And assume you conclude that it is feasible on a permanent basis. Let's make sure you review the materials that are available for you about business plans. The textbook that we use, one of the textbooks we use in entrepreneurship is this book, Launching New Ventures. So anybody that knows somebody in the entrepreneurship classes now, they have this text, and there's an outstanding form of an actual business plan as an appendix. Absolutely outstanding. This, you've never seen one probably, but you have to take a look at this. The next one is, I'm going to bring my book as part of the start, which you may have heard of Guy Kawasaki, one of the original Apple employees who now is on the lecture circuit and has a venture capital book. The part of the start has some really, really good pointers on preparing a business plan. The no-nonsense pointers about business plans. And last, there's an article that you can get for something like $9 from Harvard Business Publications, which is written by Solomon. It's on business plans, but be careful that half of that article is all about the characteristics of investors that you don't have to worry about. Now, we've sent this mind map, by the way, to Mark, and I think he should circulate to other officers. So you can give him your email address if you want this, and you'll get it. It's in a flash format, so you can actually go in and do all the things I'm doing. You just can't do it.
With that, just make sure, like on the sign-in sheet, just make sure that we can actually read your name. Because if we can't read your name, we're not going to be able to send it to you. Because that's how we get all your email addresses. You don't have to give me your email address. Just make sure you have your last name left on the sign-in sheet.
Okay. So once you've done the back of the napkin, now it's time for a more thorough feasibility analysis. So you need to, first of all, address the objectives that we had above. All the things you have to convince the judges about. This is not for publication. You don't have to show this feasibility analysis to the judges. This is for your own benefit. And one of the things you have to be careful about, it's very easy to have wishful thinking. And you'll have a bias built in because you pick the project, you pick the product or service. You're going to think it's the best thing ever invented, which it will not be, but it'll be something good, hopefully. But watch out about the bias and wishful thinking. And I always tell my classes this: remember that a sample of one is incredibly misleading. Are you all familiar with that in statistics? You are a sample of one. Just because you think this is a dynamite business, a dynamite product, doesn't mean that others think so. Frankly, a sample of 4 is not much better. So if you have a team, be careful with this feasibility analysis. Ask around, ask real business people whether or not what you now have on the back of the napkin is feasible from at least a market customer standpoint. Will the product actually sell? So, you need to get into the characteristics of the market. Who buys? These will just be bullet points, by the way, in your business plan. Who buys? You know, if you sell to an original equipment manufacturer, they're going to incorporate your product into theirs, and then they sell it to Home Depot. Your customer is not the retail customer.